What's up, everybody? This is Sean Ferrer, the culturally woke Republican, fresh off of my YouTube suspension. In this episode, I'm just going to give you a real quick little dialogue. All we're talking about is American culture and why it has changed and what we can do about it in the future to be able to, as conservatives, conserve the actual right culture of how this country was founded and where we need to go with it. That's what this whole entire episode is going to be about. I'm also going to explain to you how I got banned on YouTube. I'm not going to be able to say exactly what I said. They have some funny rules. But we're going to get into that and a whole bunch of culture on this episode of the Culturally Woke Republican. Be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. Let's start out first off. If you guys have watched my episodes, if you know me in person, things of that nature, you know that I have a minor in molecular biology from Penn State University. Basically makes me the closest thing to an actual biologist that you can get. I don't have the master's or the bachelor's in molecular biology, but I do understand basic biology all the way down to the cellular level. So, that being said, I made a statement on one of my episodes about basic biology of men and women. Apparently, to the left and media companies, social platforms, things of that nature, you're not allowed to say these things. And they basically put the screws to me real fast. No big deal. It was a nice vacation, as you can see. You know what I mean? I'm, still hanging in there, doing what I got to do. But so that's what happened, okay? And that's the reason why I haven't been around for a while. On this episode, we're not going to really talk about politics, even though I do want to scream that Roe v. Wade was overturned. We've had a whole bunch of Supreme Court wins for the right. The Democrats are basically running scared. 2022 the midterms look like it's going to be a giant red wave as long as squishy Republicans don't screw it up. And 2024 is looking like it's going to be a golden year. More than likely, we'll probably have a crap ton of riots and everything like that because a Republican is going to take office. And when they do, usually that's when the left loses their little minds and, their little snowflake world just crumbles and crumbles and melts and melts. Oh, anyway. Okay. So as I stated, this episode is going to be all about culture. As I've always stated in my name, the culturally woke Republican, I always usually talk about politics. Okay, but politics is downstream of culture. Okay, whatever the culture is going in the United States, in the communities, in the cities, in the suburbs, wherever you're at, okay, politics is always downstream of that. So, that being said, as you can see on this episode, I need to smoke a cigarette. I'm definitely going to be drinking a beer. This is 18 and up. If you're not 18 years old, you probably shouldn't be on my channel. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, if you're under 18, you should have a job right now and be working. Maybe in a restaurant or something like that, just to get your chops wet. Okay. Let's go back to the 40s and the 50s in the United States. Okay, let's say right post World War II. Okay, right around, I'd say it was like 1953, 54. The feminist movement started in the United States, and women wanted equal rights. They wanted to be able to vote. They wanted, equal pay and things of that nature. And it was a great movement. I believe that they deserved all of that and more. I mean, they basically have the magic easy bake oven, which is a magic trick to me, and they can make human life, and I think that's an awesome thing. Okay, let's fast forward 10, 12 years into the 60s. Okay, the feminist movement grew. Okay, but there was still a lot of masculinity in men in the United States. Men are solely through all of human history were considered the protectors of women. Okay, that's our job. That's what we're here for. Okay, the reason why women biologically are more frail than men is because women were meant to be protected by men. Okay, this may sound sexist to you. I'm not mansplaining anything to you. This is just simple biology and simple human evolution. Look it up, please. I welcome you. Okay, but like I said, around the 60s, okay, that's when things really started to heat up and change in the United States. Okay, the feminist movement basically went to the second feminist movement because at this point, women already had the right to vote. Uh, they had equal rights to men. They were already implemented into the workforce. That actually happened in the 40s while World War II was going on. Okay, and then you had Korea that came through, and you know what I mean. All those war efforts and stuff like that. Believe it or not, women played a genuine role in the workforce during those eras. Okay, so now we're in the 60s. This is like the free love, free sexual movement. Women were walking around, wanting to walk around with no bras on, things of that nature. They're burning their bras in protest, and they're basically trying to say they're not going to be any handmaids. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, we shouldn't have to bear children. And that's when they started to fight for abortion rights, things of that nature. Okay, we all know that history. Okay, what I want to talk about is what happened in the third feminist movement, which is what we're experiencing today. The third feminist movement basically states men ain't shit, and if you are a man, you're either a rapist, a pedophile, you're scum, you're a chauvinistic pig, things of that nature. Now, there are questions that I have for this. Okay, um, and it's funny. I know quite a few lesbians that don't believe in this part of the feminist movement. The reason why is because in most lesbian relationships, and this is going to sound really harsh, but there's usually like the feminine one and the more masculine one, and they get together. Okay, I'm all for that. Hey, whatever you do behind closed doors, that's entirely up to you. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, but when this movement started and they started to basically state that men are complete scum and women should be more empowered to have working careers than raising children, they don't need to get married because you don't need no man, things of that nature. That's where I believe the feminist movement went wrong, and this is where masculinity started to disappear in the United States. Okay, men are now raised at a very young age, okay, to believe in this type of rhetoric. Okay, young kids, 15, 16, 17-year-old boys, they're raised in this rhetoric where it's not cool to be a masculine man. You have to be in touch with your feelings and be more sensitive and be less aggressive. And what that does, it empowers women to be more aggressive and more on the high horse, basically, so to speak. Okay, and men all of a sudden take the back seat, and women are driving. Okay, let me explain something to you. When you look out your window, okay, and you see the roads that were built, the buildings that were built, they were painted, their electricity was ran through them, the cars that are on the road, okay, all of this structural society, okay, was built by men, okay. Now, I have no problem with a woman having equal pay of a man. I want to state that right off the rip. As long as she does the same job. If she is able to carry the 40-foot extension ladder that I carry, and she is able to climb to the top of that sucker and paint that widow's peak the same way I do, she deserves exactly how much I make. Let's put that out on Front Street right off the rip. Okay? But if you can't carry that 40-foot extension ladder, you can't lift that 5-gallon bucket of paint, and you're too scared to get all the way up there on that 40-foot extension ladder and paint that widow's peak, you do not deserve the same hourly dollar amount that I get. Okay? Because I'm able to do those things. Okay? But let's put that aside. What I'm noticing in the United States, okay, is because of this movement, okay, and because women have been so liberated, okay, women are trying to say that they're more happy going to the widget factory and working 40 to 60 hours a week, living alone, drinking their bottle of rosé when they go home in their one-bedroom apartment in New York City, and they still have this mentality in their head, I don't need any man in my life. Okay? Statistically, if you go into Census Bureau, many other studies that have been done on women, women today are actually less happy than they were in the 40s and the 50s. Why is that? Because they're not raising kids. Women have a maternity thing. Okay, it's actually in their genes. Okay, and that's one of the reasons why they have that magic gift to build and make children. Okay, they want to be happy in that type of setting, but they've been brainwashed. They've been pushed into society with this aspect of, men ain't shit. I'm top of the heap. I'm going to go out there and work for Mr. Jones that owns the widget factory, sadly enough, okay, for 60 hours a week until I'm old enough where, guess what, it's too late for me to get married and have kids anyways, and therefore they're emotionally unhappy, okay? Men in this climate have basically given up on women. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, okay? Men have been pushed into the friend zone by women, and this is part of the feminist third movement. And they've gotten to the point where they're like, you know what, screw it, I'm not going to try anymore. It's not worth it. For what? Why would a man in this day and age want to get married? Okay? See, I wear a wedding band. I'm very proud to wear that wedding band. Okay? The reason why is because I know that I'm united with my woman through and through. Okay? My woman is proud that we wear this band. Okay? Because we are united through and through till death do us part. That's the way it is. That's how marriage was supposed to be. Okay? As I was saying, men have gotten to the point in this country where we're like, what's the sense? Okay? So I go find this hot girl, which I'm letting you know right now, fellas, don't find yourself a high maintenance woman. Okay? You want to know why? Because she's never really going to appreciate you. She's just going to appreciate what you can do for you, or what you can do for her, what you have, and what you can give her. Period. That's it. Yeah, she'll do a few things for you and this and that, in the bedroom, she'll glam herself up when you go out. But other than that, that's where the term gold digger and things like that come into play. Okay, but men today are getting married less and less. The reason for this is because they're thinking to themselves, okay, why would I want to go find a woman, get married, give her half of my life, everything that I've worked for all the way up until this year of my life? I'm 43. I've worked a long time. Okay? But they're going to give up half of everything that they've worked for in their life to a woman that most of the time, because women are not stupid. Women rarely, I'm not going to say never, but rarely do they marry a man that has less than they do. Okay? Usually the other way around. Women upgrade, men downgrade. And it's honestly the way it usually is. Okay? Men make a predominant living in the United States. And, we build our income, we build our structure, and we build our facade. The reason why we do that is to impress a woman. Okay? We want to have all of this capital gain behind us in order to attract the best female. Okay? The problem with this is divorce is so rampant in this country. And women just go after the dollar sign. Okay, they don't really look at the man anymore. I see it. You know where I see a lot of this? Believe it or not, on TikTok. Okay, there's a lot of women out there right now making TikTok videos, talking to other women, stating, the way you treat men is horrible, and they're out here busting their ass and doing everything that they have to do in order to keep you. Okay, and you look at them as like, I don't know, like they're a fisherman with $1. You ever see that commercial? Oh, you almost got it. Oh, now men they don't even have the fishing pole anymore. They're just like, you know what, screw it. I'll just be out here, play the field, and that'll be the end of it. Why would I want to take the risk? Why would I want to put myself out there? Okay, and then, a lot of people, trust me, there's going to be women that are going to watch this and they're going to completely disagree with me, and there's a reason for that. Okay, because our society has culturally changed that way. If I was making this video back in the 1950s, okay, women would be watching this video, sitting there going, "Wow, I don't know when that happens. When does that happen in the United States?" You wonder why? Because back then it didn't happen. Okay, men were still appreciated for who they were. Okay, we were actually, in some cases, we were put up on high on the aspect that the man went out and made the living so that he could buy the nice house and give the woman everything that she needs in order to keep her happy. And if she was happy, he was happy. That's where that term comes in, happy wife, happy life. I'm sure you've heard that. Okay. These days, that doesn't even happen anymore. And men are sick of it. Men as a societal change have gotten to the point where we're just like, why would we even want to be involved in something like that? Okay, and sadly enough, it's being passed on to a younger generation now. This is where you see a lot of feministic traits in young men. Okay, I always love to put the meme on Facebook where you put the picture of the old school gangster where he's wearing the suit and he looks very masculine. He has the hat on, and we went from that to boys wearing skirts. How did this happen? Okay, well, this is how it happened. Okay, the masculinity was literally sucked out of the youth and given to the women. Okay, that's one of the reasons why the feminist movement got so upset about abortion. You wonder why? Because they felt that abortion, that was their divine power. That was their divine power. Okay, first of all, let me get this settled real quick. When Roe v. Wade was overturned, that did not make abortion illegal. If you want to get an abortion, there are plenty of blue states in the United States that will allow you to go and get an abortion. California being one. Go. Have fun. Okay? New York, another one. They're going to allow you to have abortions all the way up until the kid's probably 18. Okay? But that being said, that was like their big power grab, was abortion. Okay? Let me ask you this. When a woman gets an abortion, does the man have any say in this? No. None. She can go and do it all on her own and kill his child, and it is completely okay. Does the man have any say if the woman decides to keep it? If he decides that he doesn't want to be financially burdened by this child? No. You're going to be financially burdened by that child regardless, because that's the power. That's the power that the feminist movement and I call it the Third Reich, okay, has inherited into society. Okay, that's the reason why the left went so crazy over Roe v. Wade, because, you're taking away one of our powers. Okay, in actuality, like I said, they never really lost any powers. They just have to travel to go do it. And it's sad. I mean, if you're one of those people on the left and you're losing your mind because you can't kill babies, you need to look at yourself. I wish you Godspeed in whatever therapy you choose to get, but you really need to look at yourself. There's a social contagion going on, and you're part of it. And, that might be harsh to hear, but anybody that's got two brain cells to rub together can see that. Okay? Another thing that I wanted to touch on in this video, and this won't be a very long video, okay? I'm not going to come out here. I want to basically test the waters with YouTube. I want to make sure that they're not going to completely destroy me or completely destroy my channel or anything of that nature. But there has been cultural changes in the United States. Okay, first of all, I don't know if you realize it or not, say about 5 years ago, the amount of young people in the United States that actually identified as LGBTQ, ampersand, plus sign, dollar sign, percentage sign, A, B, C, D, elemental P, whatever national numbers and signs and letters they're putting into that now, or transgender, okay, was like 0.8% in youth. Okay, that has approached 21% in youth. Now, you're going to tell me, okay, that the majority of youth, or 21% of youth now, that are identifying this way. You're telling me that all of a sudden there's just this uptick in this mental disorder? Or is this a social contagion brought on by propaganda and a complete and utter sense to try to belong to a victimized category? Okay? The youth of today, they want to belong. And because of social media, you know what I mean, they can be, demoralized so easily. So, by that, and of course, you know what I mean, there are people, I love to say the word, I want to say it, the G word. There's a bunch of those in the education system. And because of all of this, now 21% of youth in the United States identify this way. Either they have tried to change their gender, they identify as LGBTQ or plus, whatever it is, or they're completely transgender or non-binary. Okay, like I said, this is a social contagion that was brought on by propaganda from the media and the radical left, okay, to try to indoctrinate our youth so that a bunch of people in that category that are already grown can feel accepted. They want to brainwash your children to make sure that when your children become adults, that they're going to look at those people and go, oh, that's nothing. It's nothing. So they figure if they indoctrinate them young enough through all the institutions and things like that, that's going to go over well and it's all going to be hunky-dory and everything like that. There's a problem. Okay? Most of these kids don't even know what they're talking about. You're talking about 7-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 4-year-olds. Let me ask you something. When you go out to if you have children, okay, when you go out, this is the reason why I put my videos as 18 up. Okay, does your 4-year-old believe in Santa Claus? Most of them do, right? They believe this so strongly that they'll write them letters. They'll pray that Santa comes and brings them everything that they wished for, as long as they're good little boys and girls. Okay? Now, is that any different than thinking to themselves at the age of 5 or 4 that they may be a little boy trapped in a girl's body or a little girl trapped in a boy's body? Or is this brought on mainly by propaganda and their imaginations running wild because of things being put in front of them, pressed into their little minds? Like they're like sponges. So they're soaking up all this information and they're trying to figure out what it is. And they see other children getting accepted by this, cult, whatever you want to call it. Okay? That's what's wrong. Okay? I mean, I remember, I'm not going to say that it was completely right, but I remember, when I was a teenager, okay, there was actually a study done and it was actually brought up. It was from 1997. Okay? 90% of black people that were interviewed and questioned said that systemic racism in the United States didn't give them a problem in their day-to-day. You ask 90% of black people in the United States, especially on the far left, if systemic racism is real and is a horrible problem in the United States, they will all say yes. Okay, where did it go wrong? We started to make these cultural issues. The right basically stepped off of them and turned around and said, you know what, the squishy Republicans. Oh, let's leave off the cultural issues. Let's talk about lowering taxes and things of that nature. Okay, that was the problem with us. Okay, the problem with the left is they saw their opportunity and they kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And now they have all of the institutions under their wing. Okay, and they're going to keep pushing this and keep pushing unless we do something to stand in their way. Okay, I've always stated I don't care whether you're black, red, white, purple, you want to identify as a dinosaur, whatever, you're a lesbian, you're gay, you're queer, you're bisexual, I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. But when you start pushing this on my kids, now I have a problem. Now I'm mad. Okay? I guarantee that if I found out that there was a teacher somewhere in my son's high school that was trying to push this type of propaganda and actually getting into his head, I would probably be called to violence over something like that. And I don't consider myself a violent man, or at least not anymore. Okay? This country has been swayed so far left that it's almost time for the patriots to stand up. It's time. There's going to come a time where honest, hardworking, quiet men that wanted to just be left alone are going to stand up and do something. And when they do, it's going to be bad. It's not going to be a good thing. Trust me. It's not going to end well by any means. Okay? People like myself, that I consider myself a hardened patriot in the United States, a good conservative Republican. I believe in God and Jesus as my savior. I believe in the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, the Bill of Rights, and everything that has to do with the Constitution because I love my country. Okay? That being said, I'm scared for my country right now. And you should be too. This is where we have to draw the line. You cannot allow the cultural issues to just be pushed by the wayside and we're not going to touch on them. No, we're going to fight the cultural battle. Everybody on the pro-life side turned around and said, oh, well, Roe v. Wade's been overturned. We won. No, this is just the beginning of the fight. Okay? Because now they're going to keep pushing and they're going to keep pushing. The left, as long as they control Congress, is going to start pushing legislation that is going to radically identify the United States. That's just going to blow your mind. Okay, they've already all right, Marco Rubio. Okay, and I know I said I wasn't really going to get into politics, but I will get into politics just for this one little point. Okay, recently the House passed a bill with several Republican votes on it to codify gay marriage into law. Okay, because of Clarence Thomas stating that he would like to revisit that Supreme Court decision. None of the other Supreme Court judges, even the conservative ones, wanted to jump on it. Clarence Thomas he's not like a god in the United States. He's a Supreme Court judge, a very good Supreme Court judge, but that's all he is. Okay? The left heard this and immediately went, we have to do this. Okay, well, first of all, Marco Rubio was asked in the Senate if he would vote for this. And he said, hell no. And they asked why. And he said, because it's a complete waste of time. Okay? And the reason why is because that law in the United States is not even close to being touched. Okay? If you're a gay man or a gay woman, you can get married in the United States. End of story. It's the way it works. Okay? But I think he was right in this. Okay? Buttigieg tried to jump all over Rubio about this, stating, oh, well, he doesn't care about my marriage. Okay? Because Buttigieg is a gay man. Okay? And the only reason why anybody even knows who he is because he's a transportation secretary. And one of the main things that he was is well known for is he took like 3 months off and nobody noticed for paternity leave for him and his husband, that they didn't make the baby, but he had to take 3 months off in order to help his husband get started with raising the child. Okay. That's what he's well known for. Okay. Not helping the supply chain or transportation or anything like that. Otherwise, he's really shitty at his job. Okay. But I'm with Rubio on this for the simple fact that all they're doing, the Democrats, all they're doing is trying to throw pieces of legislation out there to help their constituents. You wonder why? Because 2022 is coming up. The November of this year, it's coming. And they're scared. They know it's going to be a shitstorm, and a lot of those people are going to lose their seats. And they're going to be replaced by Republican-based senators and congressmen, districts, things of that nature, and they're scared. And rightfully so. They should be. They've done a horrible job, and they need to be gone. So, with that being said, this is where I see the cultural standpoints in the United States. You may agree with me, you may not. Leave it in the comments, please. I mean, either way, I mean, you can't call me any name that I haven't already been called. You know, I got all the phobes, bigot, all of it, all of it. I'm a white supremacist, which is completely stupid because I'm half Puerto Rican. I've heard it all. So you can call me whatever you want, but this is the way I see things. And in the United States, I believe in the First Amendment. It's called freedom of speech. And I can express my opinion anytime I choose. And that's why I love my country. Now, as I stated before, and I'll state it again, I wish you guys Godspeed. And I will be back very, very soon. So we're going to talk politics next time. We're going to have a whole lot of fun. This is Sean Ferrer with the Culturally Woke Republican. I'll see you next time.